Alright, we are on the draw with Rug Delver, and we have a very keepable hand. I like it quite a bit. I would be happier if one of these two cantrips were a land, but we might just draw into one of those. We have Threat, way to fix our mana, Interaction, Snapcaster Mage. So, I believe we're just going to suck it up and use the Traverse to get a land. We're going to be going Stomping Ground, find a basic island. This lets us play blue spells as well as interaction on our turns in the future. Seems like a good idea. I definitely favor using Traverse over Serum Visions here to do the actual fixing, because while we could get Traverse off by, say, turn 3 or 4, probably turn 4, and that would give us a threat should we need it. We could also Serum Visions at our leisure trying to find a threat. So I believe using the Traverse for the mana and the Visions for the threat is much better in this particular case. Hopefully our opponent has something that burn spells can kill. Godless Shrine could be a host of things. Urborg, Wrenchmind. So it looks like we're up against some sort of, say, 8-rack deck. Although I don't know how often 8-rack splashes white. Visions should be good. So should Delver. I believe it's just 2 burn spells I want to get rid of. Probably Tarfire. And I think it's actually going to be Forked Bolt, because I don't expect this deck to run a lot of things that I can shoot at. So I think the extra point of damage just wins out. Mandrills. I don't believe we want to just slam Mandrills here, because then Smallpox hurts a lot. So I believe it's just Delver, Hold Up, Bolt. If they have something like a Pack Rat, we can kill it. If they have a Bob, we can kill it. If they have a Lily and they minus it to get rid of Delver, we can kill it. And if nothing else, we probably just send Bolt at their face. Here is the aforementioned Smallpox. It's very awkward, but I think I have to sack the island. Probably discard Snapcaster. I'm pretty sure it's the island. If we keep the island, we can try to Visions into more lands, but I think our best bet here is to slam Mandrills and believe. Here's the rack. I believe we'll be taking 1. We took 1. Oh wow, that's huge. That is huge. We can add black to our mana pool. Do we want that? I believe it's just a basic island. But if we get a breeding pool, then we can sacrifice the Stomping Ground for the next one. That's Visions. It's a Dismember. I'll happily discard that. I don't think I want to keep the Steam Vents. I'm also not really happy with Thought Scour. Ten cards in the graveyard. We can probably cast Mandrills and keep Delirium on. Get rid of that. I kind of want Tribal. Don't need 3 lands. Don't need a bunch of creatures. We already have Sorcery, and we're probably not flashing anything back anytime soon. We need to find the second Snapcaster Mage and have the mana for it. Seems loose. It's pretty likely we're going to take 3 right now. Oh dear, we're going to take a lot. 2 of them? Oh geez. 1 or fewer, yeah. Okay. We are just in for a beating. I do believe we still cast the Visions because it replaces itself. So that's fine. Get rid of both of these, doesn't matter. Let's get in for 4. If they have any sort of discard spell, we're in an awful spot. That's a discard spell. Ladies and gentlemen, we are dead. Oh no, that's not what I meant. That's funny. Cancel. I just want to discard an Xmage. So we are in fact dead right now. Let's just get that done. Alright. So that was a little unfortunate. Of course, we didn't exactly have a draw that was good against 8-rack, given that we had 3 burn spells, Snapcaster Mage when they had smallpox. Yeah, it was a little rough. That's okay, though. Let's come back hard. Mountain seems good against a deck that wants to take out your lands. Dismember seems awful. We're going to cut at least 3 bolts, probably. Renegade seems bad. Renegade can be sacrificed to smallpox to protect other threats. We're going to leave that for now. Cut at least 1 Snapcaster. Thought Scour I'm a little torn on because I want the Thought Scour effect of ramping out mandrills, but I also feel that we may not need it because they'll make us discard cards. I'll have to take a look at that. What do we actually want? Huntmaster seems bad. Artifact and Enchantment Hate seems excellent. I believe 8-rack plays a non-zero amount of Ensnaring Bridge, but I'm not positive. Pyroclasm seems horrendous. Engineered Explosives, great. I just took out Burn, I don't want more. Pyroclasm, I don't want. The question is, do I want a number of Blood Moon? The enchantment type can help Goyf and Delirium. However, it is very expensive. And I don't think they have a great use for non-black mana. So they probably have a bunch of swamps. I feel like Blood Moon's going to be bad. So I think I like these. Turns out we kept the Scours, which is nice, because that will help us support Disrupting Shoal. We have 4, 8, 11, 12, 16, 1 CMC blue cards, which is nice. With 5, 6 if you count one of the shoals pitching to the other. 2 CMC ones. So I think this is good. I might trim a Traverse. But for what? I guess we'll look at that in more detail if we lose this game. This hand looks good. Yeah, I'd say it's good. Disrupting Shoal makes this hand good. Excuse me. So we're looking at turn 1 Thought Scour, turn 2 Goyf, pitch Disrupting Shoal, pitching Simic Charm to counter a Smallpox, and beat down with Goyf. Seems good to me. Hopefully our opponent lets us start soon. We could run out of gas pretty quickly if they have a second removal spell, but to be fair, this Thought Scour replaces itself, and when I went over what this hand would probably do, I ignored our first 2 draw steps. We draw before we play Goyf, we draw again after we run out of gas pitching Simic Charm to Disrupting Shoal, so it's not like we'll have no cards in hand. I wonder what the land drop should be. Do we want to thin our deck? We have a very relevant choice of Breeding Pool on turn 1 or Scalding Tarn on turn 1. I don't want to play the Stomping Ground because, like I said, Thought Scour. Oh, our opponent capped, so now we have to decide. So fetching thins the deck, which means we're slightly less likely to draw a land. But since we already have 3, I think that's an effect I want. So let's do it. We're going to grab an island, cast Thought Scour. Our life total is definitely relevant in this matchup, as we saw last game. We died by going below 0 life. And I don't think double red is something I'm going to care about very much. We boarded out 3 bolts, brought in Ancient Grudge and Revelry. So unless we want to cast both of these, maybe a big EE with one of them, or a burn spell in combination thereof. Wow, that hurts. That hurts a lot. I think I just have to let it happen. Though they will almost certainly take our Goyf. Or I suppose they could take Shoal and try to get us to go in on the Goyf and then get us on tempo. I don't know. But Disrupting Shoal, pitch Thought Scour to counter Inquisition seems really loose. If Goyf dies at that point, we have basically nothing going on. And I like having stuff going on. We drew a land, which is definitely unfortunate. We milled a Mandrills, which is debatably more unfortunate. With all these lands, I think I just want to fetch something out. Excuse me. Given that they have land destruction effects, I do believe we're going to end up wanting these. So I think fetching now is a good... That's very confusing, because I'm saying that I should fetch to thin the deck so that I don't draw lands because they have land destruction. So will we want more than 4? Will we want more than 3? Because they're likely to blow up 1. So do I want more than 3 lands? Probably not. And if they end up with us on 2, then I'm still probably happy. So I do want to thin the deck, I think. There's also the possibility that they go for Smallpox, and I just sacrifice this Foothills to Smallpox, as opposed to fetching. It's very notable that we have 1 Steam Vents left in the deck. We don't need to see our hand. Second Inquisition probably just takes Thought Scour, which I think I allow because that way it doesn't take whatever Thought Scour would draw, assuming that draw is good. They took Disrupting Shoal, which is really interesting. So, do we want to crack this? I think so. Our opponent's mana screwed, which is very interesting. Let's get that Steam Vents I mentioned. Put it into play tapped. Thought Scour ourselves. Goyf! There we go. No Snapcasters in the deck because we boarded the second one out. And we drew Denial. Cooking with gas. Cooking with gas. Do we want to go blue or red? We don't even have red cards yet. Yes, I will pay 2 life. Paying 2 life is integral to my strategy. Let's pass it to them, and hopefully we can protect this Goyf for a little while. Our graveyard's big. There's a Mutavault. Can I see a Smallpox? I would very much like to counter whatever your turn is for 1 mana. Nihil Spellbomb exiles only a player's graveyard, which means Goyf would become a 2/3. I think we let it happen. I don't really want to waste Denial on it. Yep. Excuse me. Sure, they draw. Goyf is now a 2/3, but we have access to Simic Charm, which seems good. I believe we play this tapped because we can play our entire hand, Denial, Simic Charm. So let's do that. I don't believe our opponent can destroy all lands, so I'm not worried about playing them out. Oh, okay. Could be a Liliana, which would be fantastic. Please be a Liliana. I would love to Stubborn Denial that. Come on. It's a blackmail. I reveal 3 cards. I only have 3 cards. Well, we can't counter it. We can't give ourselves hexproof. So I believe we're going to reveal 3 cards. They're going to put 1 in the bin. And hopefully it doesn't ruin our plan. I could see them having a Fatal Push and then the mana to make Stubborn Denial worthless. Oh, Urborg was the 4th type. That's fantastic. I will let Thoughtseize resolve because they take 2. That's if we counter Thoughtseize, nothing happens. If we don't counter Thoughtseize, they lose 2 life. They don't gain any information. They just want to get Denial out of our hand so that we can't counter whatever they want to do next turn. Oh, Urborg allows that. Well, that could have been dangerous. We're going to take 3. Draw. Okay, so at this point, we don't want to play any more cards. We're basically immune to Smallpox because I honestly don't care if I lose a land. And now we just want to hold them. It's possible we should have held the Stomping Ground last turn. That's going to resolve. It's possible we should have held the Stomping Ground so that if we didn't need a land, we didn't have to play it. But then if we do want the land, we probably have to shock. But I think we had the island at the time, so maybe we should have held the Stomping Ground to hedge slightly more in the direction of 8-rack effects as opposed to having lands on board for Smallpox. As is, we have nothing to do. So we're going to kick it back and slowly get beaten up by that Mutavault. Wrench Mind. Instead of discarding 2, I think I'm going to discard 1 and pay blue. Seems like a better idea. If they don't have a land, nice. Now, oh, that's fantastic. They get information, but they lose 2 life. And a card. I like it a lot. Okay. Replaces itself. Potentially finds something good. Serum Visions. Found a Delver. We'll have a Serum Visions next up. May as well tap that. They know what's in our hand. It doesn't matter what we bluff. And go to us. Blackmail. That can make us discard lands. Oh, wow. Blackmail lets you discard people's lands. And you get to choose. That's a rare effect these days. We're going to take 3. But we draw Serum Visions. And our opponent's in top deck mode. Oh, Ancient Grudge does not hit this card. At least we can discard it. Excuse me. I don't hate discarding Ancient Grudge to whatever effects they have. That seems fine. Bonus points if I can do that without Shrieking Affliction hitting us. So we're going to take 2. That's okay. That's a 5-turn clock. If we can hold up 2 cards and we can get our own stuff. Do we have Delirium? We have 4 types. Okay. Decision point. I definitely want to cast Traverse the Ulvenwald. But what do I want? Snapcaster is no longer in the deck. I suppose technically I should just cast Traverse the Ulvenwald since I know for a fact that I'm doing it. So let's do that. Which land do we tap? The blue one because we have way more blue than we do red. Just in case that's a consideration. So, Goyf, Renegade, Delver, Mandrills. I have a feeling it's actually Mandrills. Mandrills cannot be killed by Fatal Push, which seems like the biggest consideration right now. Goyf can't die to Dismember. How big's Goyf? Sorcery, Artifact, Land, Instant, Creature. It's a 5/6. So do we care about Fatal Push or Dismember? I think we care about Fatal Push because we've already seen at least 1 Dismember. And Fatal Push seems like the kind of card this deck would really enjoy having. So I believe we're going to play around Fatal Push. Let's get a Mandrills. Cast it. Special. They don't know what the Ancient Grudge is, so I'm inclined to pretend that we have a counterspell. We can't flashback Traverse. In fact, Snapcaster is not in the deck, so really I just care about Goyfs, Mandrills, and Traverses. So, I want an instant. I'd like to leave this land. I can get rid of a creature. Let's get rid of a sorcery. It's a little tough. We have to temporarily turn off Delirium. Or did we? Could have clicked another Visions. But it won't be long until this Ancient Grudge hits the bin. So we should still be fine. Now we have to figure out if we should be attacking or not. I'm going to blow that up. Not immediately, though. Actually, that's something to consider. So, if I click this done button, 8 rack will do 1 to us. Shrieking Affliction will do 0. If I blow it up, Affliction does 3. 8 rack's no longer here. So I should just take the 1 off of 8 rack. We draw a card. It's bad. Now I can choose to blow up the 8 rack. Should I? Also, should I be attacking? Right now we're taking 0 damage off of these effects. So it's Mandrills versus Mutavault. They die in 3 turns. We die in 4 turns. I'm inclined to want to race. If they have an Inquisition effect, we probably blow up the rack. And then they look at lands. If they have something better than Inquisition that just makes us discard a card, we blow up the rack, we lose a card, and then we will take 2 plus 3, which is 5, and we'll die before them. But we also have the choice to not use the Ancient Grudge, let them get rid of the Ancient Grudge. We take 1 off the rack, 2 off the Mutavault. We die in 3 turns. We're attacking before they're attacking. So we still win that race. So I believe we can do it. I believe in us. We don't have video, but I just cheered with my water there. So you guys know. A little bit of a salute to team. These guys. Not those guys. Those guys are bad. I'm fine with taking 2. Yep. Absolutely. I want to be very careful because I don't trust this. Oh, fantastic. They're just racing. I will take 0, thank you very much. Serum Visions, I'm pretty sure we keep on casting those. Replaces itself. Scries. Bolt. We hit a bolt. Mandrills is pretty good in the extraneous circumstances that they don't die immediately. So let's go for it. We attack. They lose 4 life. I'm going to shoot a lightning bolt at their face. Before they untap, notably. Just in case that is relevant. Did we take that game? We did. Go team! On turn 21. Xmage counts both players' turns that way. So it was our 11th turn. So you guys know, in case that's relevant to your interests. What do we want to do? We technically get a little slower because they are now on the play. Although Iraq sometimes chooses to be on the draw, so we might actually be on the play all 3 games. I think I still like this. I do need to consider the Thought Scour dilemma. Lightning Bolt was pretty good that game. Not going to lie. Of course, Forked Bolt and Tarfire have the same effect. Even Revelry, in that game at least. Simic Charm even could have done it. We do have a good amount of reach. I don't think we need more. Maybe a second bolt? I don't know. I don't know. I'm also considering a second Snapcaster Mage. But I don't think I want it. Traverse was good. I might just run this back. I might cut a Mana Leak. But cutting Mana Leak for Bolt seems okay at best. Makes Shoal worse. Relies more on aggression, which I don't know we can do. It's pretty unlikely that Mana Leak's bad unless they hit a bunch of Smallpox. But if they do hit a bunch of Smallpox, Mana Leak seems really bad. I'm going to assume that they put us on the play. So I think we just run this back. Let's cut a leak. A bit of a hedge in case they want to be on the play. Also, Mana Leak doesn't seem super great. Neither does Bolt. But I don't think either one's fantastic. Let's head back in. And they decided to be on the play. We can keep this hand. In fact, I almost like it very much. I especially like not mulliganing against 8-rack. So here's a blackmail. We're going to show them what? Probably Thought Scour. I don't want to show them Serum Visions because I want to cast it. If we show them Shoal, they probably take it. If we show them Simic Charm, they also take it. And we basically can't give them Mandrills. So we have to give them Thought Scour. Definitely not the land. I don't want to play that game with them where I say, oh, by the way, I have a bunch of lands. You can discard this. And then they call my bluff and we end up having 0 lands. I don't want to play that game. Serum Visions is also integral. I think it's going to be Revelry Simic Charm. Serum Visions, Land, Disrupting Shoal, and Mandrills are basically our game plan right now. Get mana, play threat, protect threat. So I'm pretty sure it's just those 3. They took Revelry, which is unfortunate because I like Revelry. Would have very happily showed them that. I believe we get a breeding pool here. We hit a land, and a third one, and a denial. Jeez. So, things we can do. We have, once this Visions resolves, there will be 3 cards in the bin. We take the denial. We can't Thought Scour, denial, and play Mandrills. Which means maybe I want the fetch. I'm going to have to rely on Disrupting Shoal to protect Mandrills, which means I actually want the denial before the Misty. I do want both in case of smallpox. Last one topmost, denial. Go to us. So the game plan here is we're going to shock, Thought Scour with this, play Mandrills. Oh, if we Thought Scour, we get rid of the Misty. Anyways, we shock, we Thought Scour, but I want to draw the denial in case I need to shoal pitch it. Now, do I counter this? They don't know we have Mandrills, so they won't necessarily nuke our graveyard, but they could. If we shoal it, we'll be able to play Mandrills without any sort of protection, which seems risky. If we let it resolve, we might not play Mandrills soon, but we will play Mandrills eventually. Go. I don't know if they don't like our pace of play, perhaps. So we drew the denial. We're going to go for it. We Thought Scour ourselves. Then we'll shock and do our thing. They didn't blow up our graveyard, so now they can't. They don't have a window. Fantastic. What do I want in the bin? We don't care about the instant. Sorcery. Land. Land is hard to hit for delirium, or land is easier to hit for delirium than sorcery. Flashback, Revelry, or rely on delirium. I think it's delirium. Okay. We can shoal a 2 CMC spell or a 1 CMC spell, but not a 3. Not a 3. At least we can bolt it. I don't like 2-for-1ing myself, but hey, sometimes you have to do what you have to do, I guess. So we're going to play Delver. I believe we want to take out the Liliana before it can plus, because if it pluses, it's a 2-for-1 anyways. Let's do that. End step. Excuse me. Here comes the rack. Do we counter it? We take out, I believe taking out their win condition leaves them, or rather leaves us with a bunch of time to kill them, so I think it's a good idea. So we're going to do it. Yup. That. Pitch this. It leaves Delver completely unprotected, but it also means that we have a much longer time to kill them. So I think I like it. There's a smallpox. The unprotected Delver is going to go down. We'll just sacrifice the island. Discard that. Give up this. And that land. Do we Thought Scour now? If we hit a land, we can play it, but that's not super relevant. If we hit a Mandrills, we can play it. I'm pretty happy to be playing Mandrills. Goyf we can't play. Wow, 7-8 Goyf. It's also debatable that we should have held up Scour to bluff that we had a counter spell. Well, that's unfortunate. I don't know if you hold Thought Scour so that they get rid of that, and then they can't get rid of your good cards, but that's like the kind of argument where you mill the opponent when mill isn't your win condition so that you can mill away their good cards. You're just as likely to draw a bad card off Scour as you are a good one. So I don't know how the arguments around Thought Scour work. There's a Fatal Push that's going to kill our Goyf. And now we're in a top deck war where the opponent has a manland. Well, our graveyard was recently nuked. How likely are we to get Delirium on again? Pretty unlikely. Excuse me. I think I'm just going to tutor out an island, so that whatever we do draw, we can use more effectively. We can also cantrip into threat now, which is nice. And Traverse will make future Traverses better. So I think that was a good idea. Naturally, I don't know. But all we can do is what we think is best. They have a 6-turn clock now. Denial is horrendous. We may as well go end step, though. Shrieking Affliction, I can't counter. It looks like 8-Rack is going to take this. We're about to take 3, probably take 2 off of the Mutavault. Go down to 7. I suppose I could have denialed to slow down their Mutavault, but then I have 1 less card in hand. I don't know if that's good. Now we don't take Shrieking Affliction damage, which is nice. Raven's Crimes, so we will take Shrieking Affliction damage, but we also get to make Mutavault bad this turn. So if I don't have the choice, I think we're just going to do that. If they pay for it, we lose our Vents, which means that actually might have been a bad decision, because now we take Shrieking Affliction damage for 2 turns. Here's a Visions. Cantrip into Life-Saving Threat. Well, Ancient Grudge, you weren't what we needed. 4 card types. So, if we bottom the Renegade, we take 2. We're actually just dead because we can't draw any more cards. So, let's just draw Renegade. Which we won't because we don't have a draw step. But alas, we are now dead on board. If our opponent... Yep, there we go. They do still want to kill us. Raven's Crime, I guess just for completion's sake. Can't cast this Grudge, so it's just going to go. There's the Mutavault. Let's just go to our turn. We take 2. We'll take 3. And we are dead. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Here's the deck for those who don't see it usually. I should leave deck editor open all the time so that we end up here after games. That's a good idea. I'm going to do that from now on. Once again, hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.